One thing that's actually pretty funny, we had a mountain of firewood, and I piled it up on a wall here. These are the big ones that we still have to cut. But as I was taking them out and doing that, I realized that there was something underneath all the wood that kind of surprised me. Take a look. This was between all the wood. Anybody know what this is? Give you a guess. I'm supposed to be growing 2 of them in my yard, in my garden. And they're growing here. Hi everyone. Alright, so on the garden we have our radish bed. Now our radishes, we are going to actually clean them out because of the temperature fluctuations of going up and down, the temperature, cold and hot and stuff. A lot of them went to seed and they don't actually produce fruit when they go to seed because they put all that energy in their seed. So unfortunately a lot of them went to seed, so we're just going to pull them all out and start over with the radishes. Hopefully now that the temperatures are going to be more regular, a lot of them ended up like this. What is this? You can't eat this. Okay, so we're gonna pull them all out and we're gonna put fresh new seeds down. It's gonna be cool, and my daughter's gonna be helping me. Thank you. No, thank you. Okay, so we took out all of the radishes, and we have some, but not a lot, honestly. They're not big, and I mean, with all of them together, maybe we can make food, but considering how much there was there, a lot of them went to flower, and a lot of them didn't even produce anything. So, this is what we got. We're done picking out all the radishes and kind of majorly weeded here. Okay, so we're just gonna let all this extra stuff dry, and tomorrow we're gonna plant some radishes again. My cabbages are doing okay. They're not doing bad, but they are starting to feel the struggle of the warmth because they're a cool plant crop. Starting to feel it, but they're not bad. They're not doing bad. Which this one was a little bit bigger. That one's like one of the bigger ones. And that one too. So, and here are the beets. The beets are also struggling to come out. All the red leaves are the beets. So they're struggling to come out too. A lot of my plants are struggling this year because of the crazy weather. Yep. One thing that you become huge, expert, and very like, I need to know type thing is the weather when you have a garden. Because the garden really depends, and it depends so much on the weather that it's ridiculous. Is it gonna rain? Is it too much water if I water it? And if it rains, and is the temperature gonna send the stuff to seed? And if it does, is it gonna produce any crop? Because if it goes to seed right away, it won't produce anything. Like the radishes, they put all their effort in the flower, and they didn't put any effort into the actual radish. Well, you don't want that. We want them to take their time to go to seed so that they have a nice plumpy radish in the bottom. The lettuce does the same thing, and the broccoli. Broccoli, as you can see, that went straight to flower, and yeah, it's pretty sad to see it flowered. But I don't know if I cut this right here, I don't know if it'll encourage a new broccoli. I might try it. What am I gonna lose? No broccoli? That's my loss. I already have no broccoli, so. And I keep trying with the broccoli, but the weather doesn't cooperate. We have blooms all over the cucumbers. And they're growing nicely. As you can see down that way, a wall for it to grow there. This side too. We just cut the grass, that's why there's so much grass clippings everywhere. Our cabbage seems to be growing, which is a surprise, honestly, because cabbages, they flower after some heat. So, now that it's been some time has passed, you can tell now, you can see here that the tomatoes are growing. They're doing very well, and they are growing pretty fast. Okay, you see all the tomatoes. Some of them are still a little small, but they're all growing. Now that they are growing a little wild, spreading out and growing extra growth when they don't need to. So in order to make sure of maximum yield and put good energy on the fruits and the strength of the plants, we are gonna cut what we call side shoots. Now side shoots are mini plants that the tomato actually produces in between plants in order to get more. Okay, to grow more tomatoes. But this one, if you let it get too big, it could be another plant. So if you take that off, you can actually stick it in the ground and it'll grow another plant. But we want these side shoots off so it can put energy into the roots and into the fruits. So I will show you how we do that. This is the San Marzano tomato. Okay, so as you can see here, it's doing very well. Here's the plants. Here's the plant right here, no problem. Now if we follow this up, you can see that this right here, that is called a side shoot. Easier, you can see it here. This is the main stem. This is called a side shoot. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this one off, okay? Same with wherever else we have one. We have the stem right here, and no problem. This one has one right here, so I want to take this off. This one as well. Take this off. You see? I want to do this throughout the whole plant. See, there's one right there. Take that off. I want to take this out throughout the whole plant so it can put its energy on the right leaves, set of leaves that we want. See, here's another one. Right there. Take it off. Okay? Right here, you have a smaller one, but it's right there. Take that off. Right here. Take it off. Shh. There you go. Okay, so you want to do this to all your plants. Another thing you want to keep up with, is keeping these plants inside the cage. Because like this one, I had to put into the cage. These lower leaves, put them in the cage. Because if they spread out and they get intertwined with some other ones, it's going to be really hard to put them in the cage again. So there's that. Okay? So all we got to do is just keep an eye out. See, like this one, this is a nice size one, but we want to take this off. Yeah, we want to take this one off. Just like that. So we're going to be doing this to all of our plants and just picking them out, making sure that they're all good. Doing this is like a way of maintaining the tomatoes, because tomatoes, once they start growing, they take off. Okay, you don't want them to get away from you, because then it's just going to be harder, so much harder. Take it from experience. It's going to be so much harder to do this when they're huge and they're all intertwined and they're all mixed up. That's why you want to make sure to spread them out a good foot to 2 feet in between. Last year I did something, I did not listen to that advice, and I planted all of the ones that I had grown, and I had this humongous forest of tomatoes, and I couldn't get to the tomatoes, and half the tomatoes went bad because I didn't see them because of how thick the leaves were. So you don't want that to happen, and I don't want that to happen this year. So we just want to make sure about that. Keep your tomatoes inside the cage. Make sure that they stay inside, and as they're growing, you're cutting off those side shoots. Now, like I said before, those side shoots can easily, here's a side shoot. These side shoots, you can easily put them on the ground. These side shoots, if given the chance, if you plant them on the ground, right, like so, just like this, and you leave it there, that will grow into another plant, another tomato plant with no problem, and it will give you tomatoes just like all the other ones do. Okay, so if you're like at the store, if you have a friend who has tomatoes and you want to help them pick out some side shoots, grab this, put it in a cup, put it in any kind of pot, it'll grow into a bigger plant, because these will grow roots with no problem. Okay, so easy to propagate, easy to grow a new one from just little plants like this. Tomatoes are pretty cool. So I wanted to tell you something. It's exciting and also kind of interesting. In some tomatoes, there's this thing called a mega bloom, or the blooms look different. They look like there's a bunch of them together. Now, 2 of my plants actually have those, and they're actually pretty cool. The flower looks pretty weird, but in a cool way. But problem with that is it means that we are going to get a big tomato. We're going to get big tomatoes out of there. Usually it means it's a deformation. It's a deform, where it's like multiple tomatoes under one, but it produces very large fruit, and it's exciting to have those. Beefsteak is a big one that gets those a lot. Beefsteak tomatoes, because those are known to be big. Now the problem with that is that if it's multiple blossoms in the same flower, multiple seeds of different fruit, problem with that is that they might look weird. First of all, the tomato might look weird. That's totally fine. It's gonna grow big. That's great. Problem is that when it actually starts to ripen, half of it might ripen before the other half is ready, and then half of it might be ripe while the other one is still green, or the other one's going to be overripe when the whole thing is ready. But one side can be overripe and stuff like that. That's the only concern about that. That they don't ripen at the same time, because they're technically 2 different fruits, but they're growing together as one. They're like conjoined twins, but one becomes ready before the other one, and so they're not ready at the same time. As you can see here, this one is one of those. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 flowers in the one. Now that's gonna be cool. This is the one flower. This is what it's supposed to look like. That's the regular flower, and this is the mega bloom. Multiple flowers in one. Okay? Now, this one has it. This tomato has it, and this one is called the money maker. Okay? And this one has it. My Black Beauty tomato has it right here. So it's interesting because I've never had those happen. Never had those, so. Nice. Beautiful little peppers. We got jalapenos growing, starting to grow. The poblano pepper is flowering, so can't wait for that to happen. So the bell peppers have grown, and they're a good size now. We have 2 of them. Okay, so as you can see, it's put weight on the plant. So we want to, more than likely, we're gonna cut these off. They're so big, beautiful, and let this plant grow up. Might have to stake it. The tomatillos are growing beautifully. We actually have some voluntary tomatoes here. I don't know where they're from, but they're here. Here's the other tomatillo. Growing beautifully as well. And as you see, there's 3 more peppers over there. We have more flowers, which is awesome. The lunchbox, the red peppers, we got flowers, and they're starting to grow. This is the hot cayenne pepper, so hopefully those grow. They're starting to flower too. As you can see, my corn is humongous. Okay, it's growing really big, really tall, and I'm excited to see how that goes. I did not plant any green beans or peas, which I had claimed I was going to do. I was going to grow green beans or peas with it in order to help them stand against the strong wind. Now, these are pretty thick, and if I want to put green beans in it, I can, no problem. But I have been struggling a lot to get them to grow, so I didn't want to add to the stress in the soil or on the plants. So we will see how it goes. So far, they're growing beautifully. They look gorgeous. And we'll see how it happens. Next year, for sure, I am going to add soil, a layer of soil onto the ground before planting corn again. Although I cannot plant corn here again if I don't add soil, because a lot of vitamins and minerals were taken out by the corn. So if I want to put corn here again, I have to treat it with fresh soil to add minerals back into the ground that they need. Okay, so yeah, that's the plan. Hi, little guy. Don't worry. We found him. Oof. Found him in the path that we were walking. So we're just gonna bring him over here. So there's supposed to be water, but there's no water. Here you go. Just go on in there. Go ahead and hide. Bye.
Bye, little friend.
Bye. There's a hawk in the sky. Circling. As one of the younger ones from the 4, I wanted to show you that at this age, they have their feathers have come in, as you can see, little feathers, as well as their actual feathers on the body is coming in. All that brown That's all actual feathers. So the poof is leaving while the feathers are coming in. You can see right here, he's got a patch of brown here, and here, and here. As he is a white little one, or a very, very light yellow one, you can tell that the feathers are coming in a lot easier. Except for this little stripe that he has in the front. These little spots are all feathers, grown-up feathers. So, they're growing fine.